Welcome back to the Gun Dungeon. So in a recent reloading and rambling video, I had a viewer ask me to do a reloading and rambling talking about holsters. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to do much reloading while I'm doing this because I've got a lot of props here to show you. So I'm just going to do a video in place and we'll crank the handle there once reloading and rambling. So as everybody knows, I am sponsored by Vetter Holsters. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Vetter Holsters makes excellent products, and they make many of the types of holsters that we're going to talk about today. But that's as far as I'm going to go with the sponsorship thing. Everything else is going to be completely non-biased, and I don't think that I even have a Vetter holster laying here to show you. So as far as we're going to go with that, we're going to make this as non-biased as completely possible. So when it comes to holsters, I don't think there is a one size fits all. There's not a perfect holster for every situation, every scenario. There's plenty of options out there as far as holsters go. There's so many companies, I can't even keep up with them all. But I'm going to go over some of the kind of basic designs and what I think about them. We'll talk about them as we go. And we're just going to go ahead and start with one of my favorite types of holsters that I've carried for years and years and years. And typically, this is something that I will use when I'm carrying a mid-sized gun, something maybe with a little bit of weight to it, maybe something just a little bit bulky. And it's going to be these hybrid style inside the waistband holsters. I really like these. I like the CompTac Spartan, I think it is. I used a lot of those. But these types of clips spaced way away from the gun gives you a lot of balance. It allows you to spread the weight a little bit more, and they're pretty adjustable. This is the Alien Gear one, I think, and you can move these up or down, can it however you want, set it how high or low you want it. And these are really, really good designs. Now, they are a bulky type of holster. There's a lot of material here. So it's typically something that I'll use like for Glock 19, something like that. Whereas a Glock 43, to me, doesn't really make a lot of sense in a holster this size because it's a smaller gun. But I do have one of the same types of holsters that fit a J-frame. And if I slap this on with this J-frame and tuck that away, tuck my shirt in around it, because these are tuckable clips, so you can tuck your shirt in. The only thing that'll be showing will be the outside of the clips. This little sucker just flat disappears. It's a very, very concealable option. I'll typically carry this 3:30, 4 o'clock, somewhere around there inside the waistband. And they're very, very useful. If I could only have one type of holster, I would probably, it's either going to be this style or the next style that I'm getting ready to show you. So we'll just go ahead and move on to that style. And I have a couple different ones here, and it's just a plain Jane, nothing special. You see, actually I had to take my shield out of there because it's a very, very simple Kydex holster. Now, this is a CYA Supply holster. I have a lot of these because they're cheap and they're functional, and they're a good company. I think I tore the clip off of one of these, and I emailed them and told them about it, and it was completely my fault. I was sitting on the lawnmower, it hooked, clip broke off, and they just sent me a whole new one. So good company to deal with. But this type of holster, not a whole lot of adjustability here. You can adjust the cant. You can see there's a spot there for it to rotate. But as far as ride height, you don't really have a lot of adjustability. Not a lot of these do, really. Some do, some don't. But most are pretty set wherever they're at. You can adjust the cant sometimes ride height. But this is a very good holster for me because it's minimalist, and I like minimalist stuff. I like being able to have my gun like this, pop it in my waistband, take it off with one little clip, pull it out, lay it on my nightstand, and go on. Now, this works really, really well for small guns like the shield that you see here that I've got in it now. It works really well for thin guns. But if you got something that's got a little bit more meat to it, you can opt for one that has this little wing on it here, the claw, some of them call it, which also makes a really good appendix carry holster. Now, when it comes to me appendix carrying, I have to be really, really picky with my holsters because I've got a gut that hangs over a little bit. And I've just not carried a whole lot at appendix carry, so I'm not as comfortable with it as I am other ones. I'm sure carrying it more, I'll get more comfortable. But this claw feature really, really helps a lot, especially if you wear like a more fitting shirt and not a super baggy shirt. If your shirt's a little bit more fitting, that claw will bring the butt of that gun further back towards your body, more contoured with your curve, as opposed to sticking out and holding your shirt out, especially like I said, if you're wearing a more fitting shirt. This does not. This one has the tuck capability. This one does not. This is a non-tuckable clip. Like I said, guys, there's so many different options out there. So many different people making stuff with different little variants. I did have got that wedge. If you watch the short come out on it, Vetter sent me one of the wedges. It's the first time I've ever tried one of those. That did make a difference, appendix carry, because it, along with the claw feature, really rotated it further back into your body, and you can adjust that too. It's all about playing with them and getting them set how you want them, getting them set where it's comfortable. But like I said, these are a couple really good designs. And if you're not a Kydex fan, there's leather options as well. And guys, I have got so many holsters, It's insane. I've got 3 boxes plumb full of them. That's not even counting half the holsters that are just laying around, tucked in drawers somewhere. Wife cleans something, she'll bring me 3 holsters. Take these downstairs, go put them in the gun room. Because there's just crap laying everywhere all the time. I'm always messing with something. But like I said, you got some leather options here. I don't even know what this one fits, to be honest with you. It's Outback USA. But some people prefer leather. I like leather as long as it's stiff. This one is a good stiff one, because a lot of the thin leather holsters, I don't think I may have one laying here. Yeah, I do. It's a different style. It's more the first style. This one is inside the waistband as well, and this has a belt loop clips on it. I know this one's for a 3913 because I had this one made, actually. So, but yeah, as long as this is a little thinner, so reholstering's not a thing. Whenever you take if this is inside the waistband, you take your gun out, your belt's very tight at all, it's going to smash it shut, and reholstering is not ideal. So that's one thing that I don't really particularly care for when it comes to leather holsters. Like I said, you can tell that one's much, much thicker around the top, reinforced here. So keep that in mind when you're choosing a holster. If reholstering is important to you, make sure it's going to give you that ability. So we've talked about some inside the waistband options there. Now let's move to some of the outside the waistband options that are concealable. I'm not going to talk about like duty rigs or, drop leg stuff or nothing like that. This is more concealment geared. And when it comes to outside the waistband, I'm pretty picky on that too, because I don't like my shirt to be pulled way away from me. And you're going to be printing like crazy anyway. So I like if it's sticking out, is what I'm saying. But I like something that's going to be tight to the body, like pancake holsters. And this is a 1911 pancake holster. And this one pulls the gun. You can tell it's been worn quite a bit. This one pulls the gun close to your body, about as close as you can get it. I do not like paddle holsters for concealment. And this is just going to kind of show you why. You can see how far everything sticks out here with your paddle holster versus this tight to your belt. I've never liked paddle holsters. There's a lot of material here for not very much concealment. And the on and off features really aren't that easy either. I mean, you got a pretty good size hook there. You got to wrestle that booger on and off. Just the same, I'd just soon just spin my belt out of this. But I'm not a fan of paddle holsters. You may be, try one. That's all I can say. I'm not going to tell you don't try them because I don't like them. You may like them. I'm just telling you some of the things that I've discovered through many years of carrying and umpteen amounts of holsters that I've tried. Maybe I can save you a little bit of headache. But for outside the waistband, these are pretty good. Typically, I want something with some cant and that'll set a little bit higher for outside the waistband. Another decent option. This is kind of like a paddle holster. This is a safari holster with the belt clip on it. You can put the paddle attachment on there. but I much prefer just having this belt attachment on here, and that keeps it pretty tight to the body, and you've got a good secure Kydex holster here for your firearm. I like the retention on Kydex myself, even though it is typically, you'll have wear spots, high wear spots with Kydex, whereas with leather, you're going to get general wear all over essentially the whole gun. But Kydex, you'll typically have 1 or 2 spots on the gun that have high wear, and it'll wear the finish out pretty quick in those areas. So, now, just kicked my camera. Oh, amateur move. Anyways, next, pocket holsters. Really kind of limited on these. You're going to have the Kydex, you're going to have some sort of nylon, some sort of soft material, but one that I really like here, and this is not one you see a whole lot, is this Kydex holster here. And if you look, it doesn't even cover the whole gun, it just covers the trigger, which is really all you need whenever you're pocket carrying, because your trigger is the main thing you're worrying about. As far as your muzzle being open, somebody say, oh, well, dirt and lint will get in there. Well, guess what? It can get in there just the same. So really, there's no difference other than you don't have all the extra material here. You just got a little bit on the side of the cylinder here, but your trigger's covered, and it's lightweight, minimalist. And instead of having to pull directly out, you can go any direction. So as long as this hooks, it'll roll out, it'll pop out the top. However, so I really like these style of pocket holsters. As long as it's got that trigger covered really, really well, that's a very good option in my opinion. Now, one more holster I'm going to show you. This is not really concealment, but if you are a hunter or a woodsman, I have found this to be the absolute best style of carry for me. And essentially, it's even adjusted. Probably had it adjusted for when I was a fatty. Most definitely did. Look at that. But anyways, I really, really like this for woods carry. And especially whenever I'm hunting, because if I'm sitting in a tree stand and I've got a belt gun on, my belt gun's a whole lot harder to get to while I'm setting down as opposed to just right here. It's very handy for that. And the weight's not an issue. You don't have to worry about when your gun is slung over your shoulder and you're walking through the woods, the butt of your gun beating off of the side of your handgun, or having to carry on the other side if you're carrying your handgun on your strong side, which I'm assuming you're going to be, having to carry your long gun on your weak side, which is going to make for a harder follow-up shot if you jump a deer and going to try to get it to your strong side to shoot. It's right here, man. This right here is super simple. Keeps everything right here. And if you got to go into a store or something, put your jacket on, zip it up, you're concealed. You're good to go. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Chest rigs. I think chest rigs are very, very underrated. I don't think they get the notoriety that they should, because I really, really like them. They're super handy. I have a couple different ones. This one's for my XDM 10mm. But yeah, I like a chest rig over a shoulder holster 10-to-1 all day long. I don't like a shoulder holster. One, if you got the one sitting like this that points straight out the back, I don't like the idea of my firearm pointing at somebody behind me all the time. It's just a mental thing. I know the trigger's covered. I know it's just a thing of if I do have to grab it, when I come out, I'm going to sweep my arm, unless I'm way up here like this. I'm going to sweep my arm, or I'm going to sweep everybody on this side of me coming around. There's really, unless you come down, point at the ground, and then up, it's really, really hard not to have a issue of muzzle sweeping somebody with a shoulder holster. Even if it's carrying pointed down, when you come out, what are you going to do from here? Let's pretend this is the barrel. What are you going to do from here? You're going to reach across your body for one, which isn't ideal. It's going to be slow as can be. And then you're going to draw. This is my barrel. I'm going to aim it at my arm. I'm going to sweep my arm. And I'm going to sweep everybody on this direction. Everybody on that side has now been muzzle swept by me. So that's just something to think about. Whereas, appendix, straight forward. Side of your hip here, straight forward. That's the way I like to carry. Pocket, come out of the pocket, straight forward. You're not sweeping anybody. So you don't have to do that 180-degree reversal you know, to get the gun pointed in the direction that you want it. But that's just my 2 cents on it. You all may love shoulder holsters. I don't know. Let me know your favorite holster and carry style down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, guys, stay tuned.